The debate over regulation of internet is perhaps the biggest and most significant one of our times. While countries like Netherlands and Chile have decided in favor of net neutrality, the debate in India rages on as TRAI is still to pronounce its verdict. But the important thing to realize here is the fact that what happens tomorrow, whether telecom companies succeed in throttling, blocking and prioritizing some content over the other, will affect all of us. And that's what we are debating on Crossfire today. Hello and welcome. In the studio, I'm joined by Astha Almast, co-founder and CMO, smartican.com. And on my left, I'm joined by Ayush Jaiswal, CEO and founder, Techonet, co-founder, Engine Craft, My Banaras, and Happy Today. Welcome, guys. Astha, you believe that internet should remain the way it was born, free?
Absolutely. So I think by putting a ban and going against internet neutrality, the biggest hit that would be on is not only just the end consumers, but the startups platform to actually succeed and showcase themselves to the world.
Right.
And apart from that, as a social media company, I will think that the biggest impact will be on us. Right. So a lot of startups will then struggle to actually be out there. Well, I was actually reading Airtel's press release on how they say that no small company would be pushed on the backside. But if you see marketing budgets, most startups essentially don't have the kind of budgets to compete with larger companies that are already established. Startups are there at all stages, right? So from a well-established startup that's received funding to a startup that's barely there, maybe producing an extraordinary product but doesn't have the funds to go forward and spend that kind of money on marketing. Maybe all their marketing is happening through word of mouth and because of a certain need that's been identified. So the minute you bring in plans like the Airtel Zero, do we have the kind of funds to push our product there just like the others? No, we
Hang
don't.
on to that thought. We'll come back to you. Ayush, what do you believe in? Why do you believe
Today
that?
I'm here to take a stand for the people who are overflown by the population following just one particular person for one particular point. Now, everyone is saying that net neutrality should be there, but we should also understand that the service providers also have their limitations regarding the same. Internet is growing so rapidly that a time will come when the server backups will dry up. So these server providers need some backup to grow them, to improve their services. So I'm here to take a stand for them and show the people the other side of the coin, because right now the other side of the coin is all over. They are just going one-sided.
The kind of point that he has made, well, of course it stands, because when it comes to investment, who are those people who are going to be making those investments? Of course, the big telecom companies. So do you believe that what he's saying has some merit in it?
Well, I think the telecom companies have been around the corner since 2003, 2004. And if you see, 2014-15 happens to be the most profitable year for most telecom giants.
Right.
Even in the event of the existence of popular social networking websites that they think as a threat, or the OTTs that are eating away their profit, even then they've made some substantial profits and doubled their revenues and PATs, right? But what do you think?
So you're
is the kind
saying
of
money is
expenditure?
not an issue
Yeah,
here?
what do you think is the kind of expenditure that they've made in R&D?
Right.
India, of all the BRIC nations, actually has the lowest number of patent filing that happens every year.
Every year, yeah.
Right? So why were they sitting and sleeping? Where was innovation happening? Why did they not think of in 2003 what India or what the world would look like in 2015, that people would not want to spend money on SMSs, that people would want facilities that are fastest instant messaging services? Why did they not think of that then?
Right.
We are innovating, we are startups, we are innovating, we're thinking of what the world would look like 20 years, 30 years later.
Right.
Why think of just immediately? Why did they not think of
Hang on to
innovation
that
then?
thought. Hang on to that thought, Ayush. She just does not agree with you. She believes that money is not a problem here. Money is not the issue. It's perhaps innovation. So what do you have to say about that? Because of course, all the big telecom companies and all big businesses have the kind of money that they can allocate to R&D. So it's not just investment here. We're also talking about other things.
Look, the technology is something that changes every month. So I would like to defend them on this part, that she said that they are not short on revenues. But if you see the stats, in 2013 itself, there were 214 billion calls made from Skype, only from Skype to Skype.
Right.
Right. So it decreased so much of business. It ate up all the business of telecom service providers. So they are not getting any money. I mean, of course, 50% they are getting, but the rest 50% they are losing out. So there's a huge amount of investment that they are doing in that particular sector, and these OTTs are eating their investment up. Now, if they invest in this sector, in mobile data, the stats that she gave was for the cellular data.
This is getting really interesting. Right. He perhaps is in a very articulate fashion is trying to put across exactly the kind of beliefs that perhaps a big telecom company will have, especially if you look at Airtel's brief, which came out later. Of course, it includes pretty much all that he said. Astha, your rebuttal.
So you're an entrepreneur, right? You're
Yes.
a startup founder.
Yes.
Do you think you will be able to afford the kind of plans and push your product the way and compete with other people? Don't you think that by what these big broadband telecom providers are doing, A, they did not think of innovation. Now, B, they, instead of worrying about how can they grow their business, they are more worried about how others are eating up their business.
But more importantly, a lot of people, the public outcry mostly has been against it. If you look at the number of emails which Try has received, well, it's in lakhs. It's 6 lakhs last I checked. So Ayush, tell me something. Are you, of course, money is an important point, yes. But more than that, I mean, it affects all of us on very many levels, very different levels. Freedom of expression is one of those very important points. What do you have to say about that?
That's a perception. The people know what the content are right now going around on the web. But the other side of coin is not clear to everyone. For example, she talked about my business. How can I grow my business using this?
Right.
Now, I have a business called, a startup called My Banaras. Now, My Banaras is based specifically on Varanasi. So what I can do is I'll check out which network cellular data provider is active in that city, and I'll patch up with them so that my customers can get my services for free. So that they don't have to pay for it, right? And as far as
but
business
don't you think that is? But don't you think the fact that the ability you might have as a businessman, as an entrepreneur, you might have that ability. The other startups might not. And don't you think that creates a kind of disparity which should not exist? Because internet, since the day it was born, has remained free for all. You're free to put the kind of content that you want to. You're free to conduct your business, the manner in which you do, and others will not have a say in it. And of course, that affects that, right?
So, taking his example, I think this is absolutely monopolistic. Maybe in your own Banaras city, there were people doing the exact same line of business as you and maybe offering a better product and quality and service. Don't you think by resorting
and
to
just
tying
because
up,
you believe that, just because he had a tie-up, right?
And just because the end user, don't you think you're devoiding them of better service quality?
More options, yes.
This is like the quota system or the Raj system, you're bringing back what India
Or perhaps not so,
ago.
but it's mostly sort of, it's profit driven. It's good for the telecom companies because they are, of course, receiving the money from him.
They found one or two people like you.
As far as control is concerned, right now, I don't see any big brother in the telecom companies emerging as, that they are the only
how many are they in India? How many telecom companies do you have?
There are at least 5 or 6, and there are emerging as well. So I think as far as competition is concerned, till the time this competition exists, the consumers are the king.
So another important thing here to keep in mind is the fact that perhaps the kind of awareness which should be there, both for people who are for net neutrality and also people who are against net neutrality, the kind of awareness perhaps is not there. Do you Ayush, do you agree on that? Do you think
I do agree. And what I feel is that the consumers are complaining the most, but these things are being done for them. I'll tell you how. There are two kinds of customers, those who use bigger amount of bandwidths and those who don't.
Right.
For those who don't, why should they pay for that content that they don't
So you're
download?
saying net as it exists, internet as it exists, is already sort of not equal in a lot of ways, and this being one of them.
Yes, like I use only WhatsApp and Facebook stuff on my mobile phone.
Right.
So why should I pay that data charges?
You're not. As a user, you're not. If you're not using something on your phone or on your computer, on your laptop, you're not paying for it.
Let the
Quick 5 points why you believe internet should remain free.
Okay. There are a lot of things regarding this. Okay. For a lot of companies, going with these plans is not at all feasible. So Airtel here says that we're going to charge, say, 1 rupees. Example, 1 rupee for 1 MB.
Right.
A company like mine, social media company, where we have our own video sharing platform and people come and view videos for 600 MB data.
Bandwidth, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Now, for me, to have that one user and push that thing and pay that kind of money is absolutely not feasible.
Right.
I'm a startup, but I'm sure even bigger social media companies that have humongous amount of data, video sharing platforms, is it even feasible for them? A popular video sharing network says that per user, they have 1 GB of data every month that the user downloads. Okay.
Right.
do you think if this plan was to have
Asa,
them?
we're running short of time. I'll give Ayush a quick rebuttal.
We are talking
and we'll
about
wrap this up.
feasibility. So what I'm trying to say is, if I am a startup and I want to go into a particular sector, then I'll see what is beneficial for me. And what telecommunication companies are doing right now, they are taking money from the rich.
Make it further targeted, right? And
Yes.
pay for only the users that you have.
Yes, and they are making a system wherein the users pay only for the content that they want to see.
Right. Of course, there are companies which are walking out, NDTV being one of them, apart from Flipkart, ClearTrip, etc., under public pressure, or perhaps the fact that they realize that internet should remain free. On that note, we will wrap up today's show. We hope you enjoyed watching it. Until next time, goodbye. Thanks for watching.
Last year, Indian students spent $7 billion studying in foreign universities.
And this year, one exceptionally bright, not to mention incredibly lucky student is going to be one of them, that too free of cost.
Deakin University and NDTV are partnering in a 100% tuition-free scholarship.
An intelligent, hardworking and enterprising student.
And someone who's socially responsible, who can help to shape the India story.
So apply now for a scholarship grant of 60 lakh rupees.
This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to study with the best free of cost.
Log on to ndtv.com/scholarship. Last date of applications is 20th May 2015.
Because India's brightest minds deserve the finest opportunities.
Every child hits a certain developmental milestone by a certain age. But what if there's a delay? How should parents deal with that and watch out for that? We're with Mrs. Shikha Mehra now. Thank you so much, ma'am, for talking to us. For instance, a child is just, is a slow learner. How can a teacher cater to that child and a parent as well? How can a parent take care of such a child?
A slow learner is one doesn't label as a slow learner because there could be various reasons for a child not participating in a classroom.
Okay.
It could possibly be because the child is not interested. It could be because there is a deficit in attention span, which with younger children is fairly normal. So maybe that is what needs to be worked upon first, and there are various different ways of doing that, you see. And or it could be that there is possibly a special problem which needs to be looked into. So all of those have to be first identified before they can be addressed.
Okay. Great. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thanks for talking to us.